just so I can put it out there, and it's on tape. This year, guys, was fucking brutal for me betting wise. I lost money this year. Doesn't matter how much. It matters how many times I lost. I lost 30 fucking bets in a row this year. In a row.
Woo, the parlays are tough, baby. They're tough.
I hate to put that out there because I don't even know why you guys would watch me now. Like, because
you said you're a 3-time fantasy champion.
I'm fucking full of shit as far as betting goes, but I did. I lost money. I went 0-30 this year.
But we did both finish at about 56% clip, though.
We actually had a great season as far as picking games.
Parlays are tough, parlays are tough. Anybody who gets in deep dives in this gambling game.
I've got a new process that I'm going to break down. I'm not going 0-30 next year.
Friends, countrymen, fellow degenerates, welcome to this postseason NFL edition of Bets and Buds. We the Buds helping you cast some bets. I am Jason Smoking Togan.
I'm Bobby Light.
Welcome to this edition here, post-Super Bowl here. We're going to get into deep dive into some football action here to sum up the season here and figure out how our bets went, how the season went, how the whole nine went all the way around. Celebrate the season as it was. Move on to the next chapter about the season that will be. And then we'll dive into a little bit more, probably like, future-wise, hockey, baseball, basketball, the other things we don't care about quite as much, but we still love to bet. Put that juice out there, especially come on, so we can go ahead and make sure we do that from our bed.
By the time this time next year, I better be betting from my bed.
Yes, I want to make some live bets during the course of games where I can actually watch a baseball game and go, you know what, I think who's going to hit a home run here? You know what, I think he's going to score a goal here in a hockey game? Like that, that's what I'm looking for. So come on, Missouri, come on, November ballot. Let's go. Come on, baby, come on. Well, you know, we're always the last of the party. Always the last of the party.
They've had some bad news this week.
What's that?
Mizzou? They lost their athletic director.
Nobody gives a shit about that. You know why?
They were starting to do things. Missouri was actually starting to do things.
But you know why that athletic director lost doesn't mean anything? Because we're in the world of NIL now. And so in the world of NIL, Mizzou just got a package of $65 million donation.
They did.
Stadium upgrades, and they got I think they said like $35 million of that, and somewhere $30 to $35 million, I think, goes into the treasury for their NIL funds. So once that goes into place, the athletic director...
So, okay, a little conspiracy theory here. Do you think there was strings attached to the actual gift, and she said, no, I'm out, I don't want to participate in it?
You know what, I don't know. I think maybe she just wanted to be in Arizona, because that's what she went. She went to the University of Arizona.
She went to Arizona.
So I think maybe she just wanted to go to Arizona. I mean, you got a position like the athletic director.
I mean, Arizona.
Tucson, Arizona.
It's much
Columbia, Missouri.
It's much nicer weather. I'll give them
Tucson, Arizona. Columbia, Missouri. Okay. And because up there, they get way more so than we do.
Vegas, LA.
Just everything all the way around. So, I mean, it could have been something to do with that. I mean, who knows, like, when it comes to those type of,
But, it's bad news for Missouri. Like, that doesn't look good.
Doesn't look great, but, I mean, it's Missouri. I mean, come on. I mean, that's why I'm a Notre Dame fan to this day, man, because of University of Missouri,
Okay, so before we even get into the Super Bowl, with the new college football playoff format, and they're going to 12 teams now, and, have you heard about the new 14-team one that they're even going to trump that with?
Oh, yeah. Well, it's going to be 16 before it's all said and done.
No, it's got to be 16.
Because in the FCS 1AA bracket, it's always been 16 teams.
But do you think that's going to force Notre Dame to have to go to a conference and not be independent anymore?
Notre Dame has their own power. They're their own entity. They can sustain themselves on their own because they're Notre Dame.
Well, they are.
And that's basically, they're like the Vatican of college football.
I mean, what if they set in a rule? Because, I mean, this is just something that's been floated out there. They set in a rule that you have to be either a conference winner or in a conference to...
Okay, so think about it like this.
I mean, the only one they're really excluding is Notre Dame. There's no other independent.
Exactly. So, think about it like this. The Vatican. Does the Vatican get impacted by NATO?
No.
Exactly. Exactly. The Notre Dame is like the Vatican of college football, brother. They're in the ACC and every other sport. But football, they're independent still.
They better not be like the Vatican.
I hope not. God, I hope not. I mean, but there's deep, dark secrets probably in those halls somewhere.
That's nasty stuff. But we're talking about football.
As we digress. So let's get back to this.
All right, let's go back to Super Bowl. I just want to get them little couple of things off my chest.
All right, go ahead, Bobby.
No, those are we.
Oh, okay. I thought you said you had something on Super Bowl. You want to get on your chest? Okay. Yeah, we don't need to dive into that.
No, you mean because I lost on my bets on the Super Bowl?
I did too, bro. I lost every single one.
Jesus.
And with that being said, so let's talk about that with the Super Bowl. So
Hats off Super Bowl.
Hats off to the Chiefs. Was a good Super Bowl. Hats off to them winning another championship. They're in the middle of a dynasty run now. We can officially say
without
that.
A doubt.
We're in the midst of a dynasty run. Patrick Mahomes, first quarterback, first player, under 30 years old, to win 3 Super Bowls already. So I mean, hats off to him for that. They are definitely in a run. Will they be a team of a three-peat? Can you see them three-peat?
I don't know with the salary cap issues anymore.
You know what? It's Patrick Mahomes, man.
Yeah, I mean, he's that good.
There's a couple things that have to kind of fall into place. I think they have to re-sign Chris Jones.
I mean, if they get an actual wide receiver, they could probably win for the next 10 years.
And there's some guys out there, too, because I heard some whispers of Mike Evans.
Yeah,
I heard some whispers of Mike Evans. I heard Mike Evans. And there's several guys. I mean, because you get Patrick Mahomes just anything. Anything, so because you saw he won with fucking MVS and McCole Harbor was scored the last touchdown of the game. And so with that being said, that's like diving into the bets here. So I know I was Debo Samuel heavy. That's some George Kittle action. Travis Kelce, hoping the stars would come out. But if we go back and we look in their life, how many times has the Super Bowl been won by unnamed players? And not even necessarily unnamed players, but unnamed players to the average Super Bowl watcher that watches the game.
A lot of them.
You know, and so
did anybody pick Larry Brown?
No, nobody picked. Larry Brown was the worst quarterback on the Cowboys. He was the worst defender on the Cowboys defense that year.
Yeah, he got 2 gifts.
Thankfully, Neil O'Donnell. That's why you got some people in Pittsburgh that believe Neil O'Donnell was paid off during that game, because those were 2 gift basket interceptions that he got. And you know why it was even worse? Because he didn't even score. That was what was so bad about it. Because they were right in the breadbasket, catching on a full run, and he didn't even take it to the house. I don't think
it mattered to the game overall.
Oh, it didn't matter to the game, but just the fact he didn't score. So with that being said, that's why I hate the fact that when we would sit down there, we went to go play some bets. I had a little Jawan Jennings inkling. I did have, and it's easy to say that now after the fact, but I had a Jawan Jennings inkling.
He wasn't even on my radar.
He was on mine because a couple of Niners games that I watched, when they play good defenses, he tends to show up. Just because the fact because they're going to focus on Debo, they're focus on McCaffrey. And so, he's just one of that last lost, forgotten guy that you're not going to think about to defend against.
No, I didn't.
First guy since Nick Foles to throw a touchdown and catch a touchdown pass in the Super Bowl. Had the Niners won that, he might have been a Super Bowl MVP.
Why wasn't he the Super Bowl MVP?
Because the Chiefs won.
I get it, man, but they handed out Super Bowl MVPs to losers before.
One time. I think it's only happened once. But with that
should happen more.
Yeah, but with that being said, though, what about Harrison Butker? Butker could have been the MVP of that game. If Mahomes hadn't thrown that winning touchdown pass at the end of the game, Butker could have. They had a good argument.
And he was over 300 yards passing.
Broke the record after Jake Moody broke the record for a 55-yard field goal. Right. He broke his record the same game with a 57-yard field goal.
No, that was crazy. I don't remember what the over/under for 5+ field goals in the game was, but it was.
I'm sure it was primo. I'm sure it was fucking primo. Oh man! But so not only that, so you had Jawan Jennings that had showed out and stepped up. McCole Harbor scoring the last touchdown of the game. And there was so many.
Scanlon scoring the touchdown.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you had a lot of guys in that mix.
The only person that scored a touchdown I had on my board was McCaffrey.
And everybody had him on their board because he scores every fucking game. And guess who threw it to him? Jawan Jennings. Jennings.
That was crazy.
Yeah, so
I missed my one bet by 1 fucking yard. 1 yard. 1 Brock Purdy rushing yard. 1 Brock Purdy rushing yard.
That's gambling, baby.
It was rough.
That is gambling. So we talked about the Chiefs if they got a chance to three-peat. So I think they definitely got to re-sign Chris Jones. That's one they had to do. But J.R. Sneed is also a free agent as well.
I don't think they can pull off both. I really don't.
Yeah, Sneed will probably be the one they have to eat. They'll probably have to lose J.R. Sneed. They're going to have to because Chris Jones has to come back. I mean, that defense, that's their pass rush. They have nothing. He makes Nick Bolton's life. Nick Bolton is a dog and a playmaker, Mizzou alum, as we talked about at the beginning of it. Always does. Well. Always does. I mean, he's a stud, man. He's an absolute stud. But he make Chris Jones, because of how many guys he occupies on the offensive line, makes Nick Bolton be able to run free and make plays. He does make him be able to run free and make plays.
They're picking the 32, so there's probably no difference maker coming out of the draft.
You know what?
Let Jones walk and sign.
No, not at Chris Jones level anyway. But with that being said, so coming draft-wise, that's because I used to be a big draft. I still love the draft.
Right.
I used to be a big draft guy. One of my favorite games used to be on the primetime game when the guys would announce what school they came from. I try to spit that out before they call it out. But so I'm a big draft guy. But when I actually looked at NFL Network came out with a list of like all the players' grades on the drafts, post-draft, and showed how many guys actually impacted their team. It was when you look at how many guys actually started, actually had impactful seasons as rookies in the NFL. I mean, probably less than that. I mean, you're talking probably like 7-8%. Because you got to think you got 7 rounds of draft. Just 7 rounds of draft picks.
Right.
So you're looking at like
you're talking about
how many games?
Not just first round.
Not just first round. There's 7 rounds of draft picks, but because you never know. You're getting gems. I mean, Brock Purdy, Mr. Relevant, he started in the Super Bowl. So you're talking about rookie players, how many starts they started, how many impactful starts they had, how many impacts they had on the team. It's a very, very low number when you really. That's why the Rams had a couple years. We're like, fuck them picks. We're going for pro players. We're going for pro players because you know what you're getting from pro players.
And somehow they still have turned it around.
Oh yeah, because you know why? Because they've drafted well from rounds 3 to 6, 3 to 7.
Yeah, they got Puka in what, 4?
Yeah, I think he was a 5th round pick. Yeah, I think he was a 5th round draft pick. Yeah, Puka was like a 5th round. So I mean, that's the thing. So if you draft well. And you have shots out to the scouting departments to go in and finding those gems. You can make up for those, but at the end of the day, you still can't bank on rookies changing your team.
No,
you just can't. I mean,
they're rookies for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, and they're entering the men's league, and there's such a learning curve that goes into that. And like when you think about the rookies that like totally altered the team's destiny, that's been very, very small quantity when you're like breaking it down there. So with that being said, who do you think are contenders going the next season?
Oh, well, I mean, how many you want?
I got 6 that I threw
out there.
You got
6? Yeah, you got 3 on each side?
No, I didn't throw 3 on each side. I just threw 3 out there. I mean, 6 out there just in general.
Right. Well, I'll go 3 on each side. I definitely like the Lions.
3 on each side.
I like the Lions. Lions are definitely coming back.
They made my list.
Green Bay is actually going to be tough next year.
Yeah.
Green Bay is going to be really tough next year, and I don't see any reason why the Eagles can't bounce back and have a decent season.
Depends on who they hire as coordinators.
Okay.
It depends on, and so that's one thing. It's like a hidden thing with football that people don't really realize or understand. Coaching matters, team chemistry matters, and the Eagles losing offensive and defensive coordinators was a huge, huge loss for them.
Yeah, but
huge loss.
Oh, shitbrain Patricia was one of their coordinators.
Yeah, but he didn't even get that job until after the other guy failed. The other guy.
But there was some kind of disconnect last year.
But again, because you had those coordinators who became both head coaches. Shane Steichen had very good success with the Colts.
Right.
So he almost took them to the playoffs, one drop pass away from going to the playoffs. And he lost his starting quarterback, and he took Gardner Minshew, and they almost to the playoffs. So you got Steichen, who obviously was an offensive genius. So Jalen Hurts, I'm sure, missed him. When you talk to any quarterback, and you got that quarterback whisper that's in your ear like that, you can't lose those guys for young quarterbacks, especially a guy like Jalen Hurts, because if he's still a young player, he's got talent, but he's being like a pure passer. And
I mean, he's never going to be a pure passer.
So scheme-wise, that's going to be something that's crucial for him. So losing a guy like Steichen, and then was it Jonathan Gannon? Who went to the Cardinals, shots.
If you think about that, I retract my Eagles statement and would like to throw the Cardinals in that place. Because the Cardinals actually looked really good coming down
They did, but that's going to be a tough division because the Rams are going to be tough again.
The Rams are 49ers. Seattle's, even though they got a new coach this year, I mean, Seattle's not going to shit the bed.
Yeah, they're not going anywhere in that end. I mean, they're not. So I mean, we'll see. So my teams that I had was the Chiefs, obviously.
Okay.
Because they're going to be in position. They got Mahomes still going for the repeat the whole night. Niners. I think the Niners will still be back in the conversation again. I think the Niners because they got Brock Purdy.
Oh yeah,
another year.
They're not going anywhere. I mean, they've got salary cap issues, and they're going to have to make some tough.
But the beauty of it is they're still paying their quarterback nothing. They're still there.
True.
So that allows a lot of flexibility with your personnel and roster issues. I also have I know I'm going to catch a lot of shit for this.
I ain't touching the Cowboys.
I don't want to touch them on that end. But going back to when we talked about coaching matters, I love that Mike Zimmer is back with the Cowboys. I love that he's back with as a defensive coordinator with the Cowboys. I love that. So because Mike Zimmer, if you talk to anybody, like Deion Sanders being one of the greatest defensive players of all time, said that was one of his favorite coaches of all time was Mike Zimmer when he played with the Cowboys. He's a no-nonsense guy. A lot of shit's going to be buttoned up. Those run plays they were giving up. A lot of them, like, stupid stuff.
No, they definitely have to button up that run.
Oh, yeah. I mean, but that was also a personnel issue, too, as well. Once Leighton Vander Esch, they did not have a plan.
Their linebackers were soft.
Yeah, they were small. I wouldn't even say they were soft. They were just small. And you can't go into the NFL trying to stop running plays with 215-pound linebackers.
Right. Well, that's what happened to the Rams when Martz got his fucking job.
Yeah, let's say they
just wanted speed instead of size, and then
Tommy Polley.
Yeah.
Tommy Polley. Tommy Polley weighed about 220. Trying to play outside linebacker. Back in the day when you couldn't play outside linebackers at 220, that was terrible. That didn't work that way. But I do like that. And not only that, this is my other kicker with the Cowboys coming back.
Okay.
You saw who's on the board now.
Yes, I did. My dad, I thought he was actually full of shit.
Yep. Jimmy Johnson is on the board. Jimmy Johnson is back in the building.
Yep.
He's got his hands back on the organization, on the franchise.
I like it.
So that's the only reason why I threw them back in the mix there as far as because I see a turnaround going in that end. Also, I like the Lions, so I was with you on the Lions.
The Lions.
The Lions, they're not going anywhere. The Lions are not going anywhere. They got a lot. They had a great draft last year. They actually did get a lot of productivity out of rookies with Jack Campbell, Jahmyr Gibbs. You had Sam Laporta.
Yep.
I mean, Brian Branch and safety.
They hit on all their.
Yeah, I mean, their picks. They came out got like probably the highest productivity out of any draft out of this.
And
this
they were
season.
getting shit on.
Oh yeah, which shows you what the experts know. The other team I like is the Ravens. The Ravens made a contender because, I mean, Lamar's not going anywhere as long as Lamar's healthy. They're going to show up some more weapons for him. Mark Andrews stays healthy. They'll make the plays.
Flowers is going to get better.
Yeah, Flowers is going to get better. If they can just get another receiver, they're also in the
get rid of Beckham. He's done.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's got I think too many injuries, and, and now he's dating the Kardashians. He's dating Kim Kardashian. So, so you definitely know to write him off.
He's gone.
Once you go down that Kardashian train,
and I see the Jets. It's the last team.
Yes, I do have the Jets. I do have the Jets. I do because you know what? Aaron Rodgers is going to be on a revenge mission. He wanted to come back this year. So you think about it. If he was projected to come back this year, how strong and healthy is he going to be back to come back next year?
He should be fine starting training camp.
And my biggest thing with Aaron Rodgers, and I always tell people, he's not married. No kids. So what else does he have to fucking do?
Here's my football.
What else does he have to fucking do?
Football.
So but put in that time. So that was my 6 teams that I have as contenders.
So if I had to go with 3 AFC teams that I think take a step forward next year, I actually like the Raiders to take a step forward next year.
Who's the quarterback?
But they're going to draft one, baby.
I know.
They're going to draft one.
Which means when you're in that division with Patty Mahomes and now Jim Harbaugh too with the Chargers.
Hey, I said take a step forward. I didn't say win the division. Because 2 years ago, I bet on the fuckers to make the playoffs.
No, I know. I was with you on that one. I had one of those little bets going.
I actually, with the Raiders defense, I think they, with a decent quarterback, and let Jacobs go, I think you probably end up bringing him back, actually.
I don't know.
But they should just let him go.
Yeah, I would.
White's your man.
Yeah.
White's your man for me.
Well, I mean, they could even draft somebody at this stage. I mean, running back's one of those you can kind of not plug and play. We saw that with Dallas with like trying to get plug and play Tony Pollard in the scene. So I mean, it's not like that. And also even with Minnesota with Alexander Madison over Dalvin Cook. I mean, it's not that easy just to find.
No, it's not. It's not just because Madison was actually kind of garbage this year.
I said that going into the season. I've never been Alexander
definitely
Madison.
Called that.
I've always said that dude stinks. You know why? Because he runs too high.
So okay, I like the Colts. I think with Richardson, they can actually do some things.
The Colts can do it.
And Jacksonville, I don't know if it's the Peterson effect. Like he got too big from the Philly Super Bowl, and he's not that great of a coach.
See, I think,
or if Lawrence just isn't that good.
I think Lawrence was beat up this past season. I think Trevor Lawrence got really beat up this past season as far as injury standpoint. Because I mean, like he played in games that he probably shouldn't have played in. Several times.
But they were battling for that playoff.
They were. I mean, and he's also he wants to get into that tier of greatness because he's been supposed to be there.
They're probably going to lose Ridley.
Oh yeah, Ridley's probably gone. Yeah, Ridley's more. But they've got enough weapons.
That's your number one then.
I mean, they got enough weapons. I mean, and receiver now. You're between you got Zay Jones, you've got Christian Kirk, who they paid. Yeah, you got Evan Ingram. Evan Ingram also got a contract.
He caught 119 balls last year. You can't discount that.
Yeah, so Evan Ingram's another one that they got it as far as from repertoire. Travis Etienne's a good explosive weapon coming out of the backfield. So all they got to do is throw another guy in there. And I think.
Okay, so my third team that I don't think the Bills take as big a step back as everybody is predicting.
Yeah, I don't know. I got to see what they do offensively wise. I mean, not offensively, but just organizationally wise. I'm sorry.
I don't think the Bills are going to take it. I'm calling that right now before free agency or anything happens, draft or anything. I don't think the Bills take as big a step back in that division because really they're battling Miami, and they are up against salary cap issues too.
Yeah, they have some salary cap issues.
Got to make.
Well, they got a lot of guys coming off injury too. I mean, that defense was decimated last year with injuries.
That defense is older.
Yeah. Well, and the one thing that the NFL has gotten really good at is normalizing guys coming back from injury. Because when a guy, you got to understand, when a guy tears ACL, blows out an Achilles tendon, those are major catastrophic injuries.
If I did that, I probably wouldn't be able to.
Oh, yeah, man. I wouldn't be able to sit here and do this podcast
ever again. They're like, oh, my God.
But they normalize guys coming back from injury so much, and you got to understand, like, that. Sometimes you might not ever get that version again. Like being in the fitness field, I always try to explain this to clients all the time. Think about like your car. Your car runs, you first get off the lot, it runs, it purrs real good, everything else. Once you start putting those miles on it, they get a fucking accident. They get an accident.
And then you hit a curve.
Yeah, you get an accident. That car will never, you can fix it, but it will never run the same way again. It will never run the same way again. I mean, so those are things you have to factor in. And so Miami's going to be dealing with that a lot next year. So I agree with that. Like they don't really have a lot of opposition in that conference.
Outside the Jets, really, and it all depends on Aaron Rodgers at that point.
And you know what? I can't bet against that man. Right. I can't bet against that man. I mean, Aaron Rodgers. So
you got the Jets, I got the Bills.
Yeah. So that's where I'm going because I said Aaron Rodgers knows what he's got to do. He's got a couple years left to do it. So I mean,
what? I'm shit. Come on,
he said he wants to be
Steve DeBerg played till he was like 47.
Well, yeah, but Steve DeBerg did that because he was Steve DeBerg. I mean, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to play until 47. He's got one Super Bowl already. Steve DeBerg never even sniffed the Super Bowl. Never even sniffed the Super Bowl.
No,
years with the Chiefs.
Was he a backup with San Francisco?
Oh yeah, he was a backup with that's probably. Playing until 47, he was a backup.
Like 4 or 5. No, I know he doesn't have that. He might have one, maybe off the list.
No, it's good. Super Bowl?
DeBerg doesn't have any, not even as a backup?
I don't think so, man. I really don't think so.
He wasn't the backup when Montana won his first.
I don't think so. No.
Was he out of San Francisco already by that time?
I think he was out of there by then because he was with the Falcons. Is what I remember. I remember the Falcons.
I gotta look up Steve DeBerg.
All right, so while you're doing that, we'll go into because we're down to free agents here in a little bit here to see some of the top free agents going into next season. That'll help with some of the contender talk and conversation. Yeah, I remember him being with the Falcons. I remember him being with the Chiefs. What other team? There were several teams Steve DeBerg was with, but those are the two that stand out in my head. I know neither one of those teams.
I don't know why we're talking about Steve DeBerg.
Because we're talking about old-ass quarterbacks.
Oh, he went to Denver.
Yeah.
He was in Denver. So he had been the quarterback before Joe Montana showed up.
Okay. Yeah, so I mean, but Steve DeBerg was never.
No, because Denver, Tampa, Kansas City.
Yeah, he was with a bunch of horrible teams. I mean, that's
no Steve DeBerg love.
No Steve DeBerg love. So that's all. If you're young kids out there who don't have a clue who the fuck Steve DeBerg is,
look him up.
Yeah, look him up because he was the one that played till he was like 47 years old. The only other quarterback that he played longer was George Blanda with 50.
What was Miami's old backup? Straub.
Oh, yeah. But George Blanda was yours. Yeah. All right, so we got some of the top free agents coming up. So I wrote down about like the top 15 free agents going into the season. So we talked about Chris Jones. Yeah, Chris Jones is like number one on that list.
But I'm like, he's not a free agent. Like,
well, I mean, he is. So technically, he's a free agent. Did you see his? Because when he got in the Super Bowl talk. During the Super Bowl parade, he talked about coming back to three-peat. His agent was pissed. Like, said, somebody cut this motherfucker off. You're killing our leverage, man. You're killing our leverage. So, Chris Jones.
He's number one.
Yeah, he's number one on that end. Next one was Kirk Cousins, coming off the Achilles tendon.
He's number one. Quarterbacks will not move until Kirk Cousins signs.
Yeah, because Kirk Cousins, if he goes into a team that's like ready to go, you can plug and play him. He can turn a team into contender really fast. Kirk Cousins was having a great season. Falcons is one. You got to see what Justin Fields does too. That's going to
be. Do you think that is a draft day trade?
Justin Fields?
Yeah.
I think it's going to happen before then.
You think?
I think it's going to happen before then. Yes, I think it's going to happen before then. Some teams going to have to know what they're doing going forward, and the Bears, if they're smart, want to know how they're proceeding going forward too as well. So I think it's going to be a draft day trade if it happens. Because I mean, I actually heard Kevin Warren, the president of operations, he said he wants to go and ride with Justin Fields still. That doesn't mean anything, but I think it'd be a mistake if they moved on, honestly, because with the draft capital they have right now, Trade back that number 1 pick.
He's got so much potential. Justin Fields does. He has
does.
so much potential.
I'm not necessarily a Justin Fields guy, but for the Bears organization, I think that'd be a bad move. Right now, where the organization is, having the number 1 pick, trade back, get some more resources, and strengthen that team. Well, and the problem is, though, is because you don't want to miss out on a life-changing quarterback. You know, like when you go back, because they did that once when they drafted Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes. But again, that shows you what an inexact science that the draft is, because nobody in that draft,
I never heard of Patrick Mahomes.
I heard of him, but nobody in that draft said Patrick Mahomes is a dude. Like nobody said that. Shout out to Andy Reid and his scouting department, because he said he wanted that for a long, long time. All right, so Kirk Cousins, we'll see where he goes. Next one I had was Josh Allen, the edge rusher out of Jacksonville.
I think Jacksonville, they've got nobody if they let him walk. I mean,
he might be a franchise tag guy. He might be a guy that might get a franchise. So I got a couple guys on this list that might be franchise tag guys. So Josh Allen. The next one was T. Higgins. T. Higgins with Cincinnati.
I think he's gone.
I think he's going to be franchised.
Really?
I think he's going to be.
I think they're going to pay him.
They're going to franchise him.
Well, yeah, it's like $28 million.
Hey, you know what? They can still, because they still haven't signed Jamar Chase yet. So they franchise him for this season, see what they do when Joe Burrow comes back healthy, and then ride with them from there. And then see, then they reassess after the season's over. How do we make this work? Well, it's a big number.
I mean, that's good if you're T. Higgins.
Yeah, it's a great if you're T. Higgins for this season to just don't get hurt. That's basically what you're making.
Blow an Achilles.
Yeah, exactly.
It seems to be the prevalent.
Oh, I know. That's been I've never seen so many Achilles injuries in the NFL. So the next one was Brian Burns, the edge rusher out of Carolina. Mm-hmm. He's somebody I actually wouldn't mind seeing Dallas go after. I wouldn't mind seeing Dallas go after. I just don't see how they're going to be able to afford it, because they still got to pay CeeDee Lamb. They still got to pay Micah Parsons.
Dallas has got serious.
Oh yeah, I mean, well, but they can eradicate all that.
If they get fucking Prescott extension.
Prescott, CeeDee Lamb, and Micah Parsons. If they extend those three players, they can kick the can down the road there. Then you can start having a little bit more maneuverability.
3 years from now, 4 years.
Yeah, they still got them a little bit more maneuverability.
No, I like the Brian Burns.
Yeah.
But I don't, if you're Carolina and you're like trying to do it, you have to bring him back.
I don't know, man. I mean, for the price tag he's going to yield, though, and we're having a team that's not going anywhere, sometimes you got to, from an organization, got to look at it and go, man, he's not. Brian Burns isn't selling you tickets.
Their owner doesn't have the best.
Yeah, he's not selling you tickets, so either. Brian Burns isn't. So So they need to go get some weapons for Bryce Young. They traded up and gave up too much for Bryce Young. They've got to get something for that kid to work with. They have to. I don't think he sucks. I think, but he just said he was in a bad situation last year that really wasn't conducive to him doing.
Where's their actual first pick this year? Second round.
I think it is a second round. Yeah, I think it is a second round. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, so you're not getting any super
exactly. So but again, we talked about this earlier. What can you really expect from the draft? Honestly. So I mean, if you let Brian Burns walk in, you still got other room for free agents. There's a lot of free agent receivers out there. Things you can bring in. Bryce Young needs weapons. He has to. He has to get those.
He does.
The next one I had was
CeeDee Lamb.
Hell no. He's not going anywhere. He's staying in Dallas. The next one was Justin Madubuike. He was a defensive tackle for the Ravens. He had like 14 sacks this year as an interior defensive lineman. He had a baller season, balled his ass off. And so he's another one. He might get franchise tag too as well. I could see them possibly doing that. But if he goes out, he can go and get a big ticket.
I haven't heard the Ravens being up against cap at all.
Either. Yeah, they don't really have the cap issues, but I can see them possibly franchise tagging him because this was kind of an outlier. This was his career year. So you always kind of hesitate to give a guy a big contract on a career year. So maybe franchise
then you get that dead cap space.
Yeah. So maybe see if he can extend his way out there. The next one was Christian Wilkins. He's another interior defensive lineman for the Dolphins. So he's another one that's out there on the board. The other one was Antoine Winfield Jr. with the Bucs, the safety for the Bucs.
Right.
So he's won a Super Bowl with them in his rookie year. Had a great couple of years. A lot of people thought he should have been a Pro Bowler last year. Got snubbed for the Pro Bowl. But he's a solid safety, pedigree, because his dad was an All-Pro.
Bucs got other issues.
Yeah, they got other issues they got to do because, Mike Evans is probably going to be out of there, so they got to figure out how to retool that organization.
Baker's got to.
And they got to figure out
Baker to come back.
Yeah, figure out what they're going to do with. I think they'd be foolish not to bring Baker back because right now, where the organization is, you got to kind of have that guy that's going to at least kind of hold the fort down to give you some promise.
He's a decent quarterback.
Oh yeah, Baker's solid. Baker's a solid dude, and all the teammates
probably never going to win a Super Bowl.
But all the teammates always love him. I mean, they really do. The next one was L'Jarius Sneed.
Yep.
L'Jarius Sneed. That's a big one.
I actually think that one should be higher up on your list.
You know, yes and no. The problem is because corners sometimes they kind of find it to be a little bit easier to get. So when you got guys like some of your edge rushers, so your interior defensive linemen are big guys like that. They're a lot harder to come by like that. Where so like L'Jarius Sneed had a great season and balled. One of the places they actually talked about him going was Detroit. Like some of the early whispers, and I mean we're early in the free agency process. I mean we still got to
that would be a big get.
Detroit needs that. I mean that would be a big get, but I mean that'd be something
help their defense.
Huge. The next one was Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman. He's a free agent.
I didn't realize he was a free agent this year.
Michael Pittman is a free agent. He might be another franchise tag.
Michael Pittman can ball.
Well, Michael Pittman is a man. He's a fucking man who runs 6'4", 6'5", fucking just a beast. I mean, he's a monster.
I had him on my fantasy 2 years ago.
Oh yeah, man. I anytime I get if he slides down, he's one of those people forget about it. If he drops to me in fantasy, give me him in the.
Then we were talking about Justin Fields too. I got Justin Fields love all day long.
I bet you do. All right, so the next one was Danielle Hunter. Danielle Hunter from the Minnesota Vikings, another defensive lineman that's going to be hitting that free agency period. I don't see the Vikings bringing him back, but again, he played for Mike Zimmer, Dallas Cowboys. He played for Mike Zimmer, and Mike Zimmer, with Micah Parsons. When you listen to his podcast, and
we need another rusher, edge rusher.
Yeah, well, but he also said
an interior.
Danielle Hunter actually reached out to Micah Parsons too, as well, talking about how much he loved playing for Mike Zimmer and how he's a no-nonsense guy, and he would help get that organization right. So I mean, it's another one to look out for. Next one was Mike Evans. The one thing that I don't want to see.
Chargers.
You know what? That would be a good fit there.
Because I think they're going to have to cut Mike Williams.
Oh, they're going to have to cut Mike Williams. He's injury prone.
He's coming off another bad injury or like injury prone like he always is.
And Quentin Johnson was a bust. He was a bust.
This year he was a bust.
He stinks, Bobby.
I had him for
a little while. I drafted that motherfucker. He stinks. Because when I watched him at TCU, I had the same complaints about him. But then he had a nice preseason. People were talking him up, and I said, "Oh man, he might be all right." And then I started watching him more. Like there was one game I watched, and he dropped like 3 passes, two or three passes. And I was like, "This is what I thought about this dude," because he's a body catcher. He's a body catcher. Yeah, you got like in the NFL, you got to be a hand catcher. The only body catcher that I ever saw in my lifetime that was a solid receiver was Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin understood body control but Michael Irvin was
you got to create
when you look at a lot of Michael Irvin's big catches in situations. Yeah, he was a big body catcher. So Mike Evans is but you know what? Like a lot of people were whispering to him going was the Chiefs.
Okay.
The Chiefs.
It's smart move.
I mean, and I can say, I don't want to see that at all. Mike Evans might go for 2,000 yards. I mean, and have 15 touchdowns. I mean, like with Patrick Mahomes and Mike Evans, I think Patrick Mahomes has never had a receiver like Mike Evans in his career.
His best receiver has been Juju Schuster-Smith, and
Tyreek Hill.
Oh, I forget about that. Yeah, was what, 2 seasons?
Yeah, about 2-3 seasons with the Cheetah. 2-3 seasons because it's only his second year.
You're right.
This is only Cheetah's second year with Miami.
You're right.
Yeah. So he had about 3 seasons with them. All right, then the last one I had on here was another which I think goodbye. Thank you for your service, Tyron Smith. Tyron Smith, left tackle for the Cowboys, great stud player. But he's banged up all to get out. I mean, the dude wears so much body armor to play a game. I mean, I think that's going to be
I think they let him.
They have to move on. They have to move on because that's going to be more money that will be freed up on the salary cap because they have to move on from Tyron Smith. He says he wants to come back to Dallas, but I still see how they can do it.
If he wants to take a huge, massive pay cut.
I mean, he's got his money at this stage, and who knows? He's a veteran. He wants to keep playing ball. I mean, I still see him staying there.
Move inside the guard?
Nah, he's too big. Yeah, and he can't pull. Can you see his ass pulling all them braces off? Watch him pulling out there and fucking looking like RoboCop and shit. All right, brother. Well, we had a hell of a run this season.
We did. All right, just so I can put it out there, and it's on tape. This year, guys, was fucking brutal for me betting-wise. I lost money this year. Doesn't matter how much. It matters how many times I lost. I lost 30 fucking bets in a row this year. In a row!
Woo, the parlays are tough, baby. They're tough.
I hate to put that out there because I don't even know why you guys would watch me now. Because you're
a 3-time fantasy champion.
I'm fucking full of shit as far as betting goes. But I I did. I lost money. I went 0-30 this year.
But we did both finish at about 56% clip.
We actually had a great season as far as picking games.
Parlays are tough, parlays are tough. Anybody who gets in deep dives in this gambling game.
I've got a new process that I'm going to break out. I'm not going 0-30 next year.
Yeah.
How'd you do overall?
I think so. I hit about 6 bets. And I think I went roughly about 6-32.
6-32.
And mainly because I hedged about like 15 bets those last 2 weeks. Between the last two, like the championship Sundays and the Super Bowl, I had about 15 bets going all the way, and none of those fuckers hit. So that laid down my rate.
All for the playoffs.
Because I got to hit that first week, but I was about 6-32 roughly this season.
Okay.
Yeah, 6-32 from the
parlay. In the Super Bowl, I missed it by 1 yard. I'm going to say it again. I know the second time I've said it. 1 fucking yard.
That's gambling, baby.
Damn it.
That's gambling.
Damn it.
All right, so we're going to go keep this thing rolling for you guys. Make sure you like and subscribe, add to the comment section. Shout out to True on the Track for busting with that intro, outro beat. Give it up to Director Dave for those edits and get those stats up on the board for us every week. We're going to keep this rolling. We'll be talking baseball. We'll be talking football. We got March Madness coming up. We'll be throwing some things out here. There's a lot of things right now that we don't want to have to drive over to the ill side and make bets for because we don't love it just as much as we do football. Plus, it's once a week with football. The other sports are daily, so it's a lot harder.
I'm not driving 50 miles a week.
Yeah, I'm not going back and forth in that end. So hopefully, like I said, by this November, we'll have these, we can just do this for our bedside, bar side, whatever we're doing here. So we're going to keep that train rolling for you guys. Make sure we get some content out for you every week talking sports.
Just real quick, I'm going to throw this out there just to get it on tape. Blues on the money line tonight. Under 6. Jordan Kyrou, anytime goal, plus 850.
Well, you know I'm going to ride with you because you hit your hockey bets. That's one thing I will give you.
That one's hitting tonight.
Every time that I've went with you that you've hit a hockey bet, I mean, you hit some obscure shit. What was it? Stamkos?
Stanley Cup Finals.
Stamkos with the first goal in the game. I was like, look at Bobby go. That's why I call you Bobby Blue Line.
Lightning win. Under 7. Boom.
Yep, that's why I call you Bobby Blue Line, brother. You know what? So
that one's on the board, though. Let's see if we can go over 31 now.
All right, let's get it. Well, we love you guys. Make sure you keep tuning in. It's been a fun run. This party's going to keep going for you. Peace.